Hi, I'm Barry from Factory Entertainment here at Comic-Con 2024. Give you a quick tour of the booth and show you, starting off with all of our coming soon items. These are all the prototypes and the new things that we don't have here, but we hope to bring out or will be bringing out very soon, and we like to show them off here so you get some sneak previews of stuff that's really early in development. You get some stuff that's just been released. But without further ado, let's go for it. So you'll see a lot of prop replicas from us, both full-size and scaled prop replicas, because we realize that not everybody has the room and the space for big swords and big phasers. So we do them at full size with functions and features, lights and sounds, but we also do them at scaled size, small desktop things which are metal, which you can get a whole bunch of things in a small space, because we realize not everybody has the room for a whole bunch of big hulking stuff. So here's a whole bunch of prototypes here that one of the big things we do at Comic-Con is we get people's feedback. You know, some of these may never come out because people just say to us, yeah, they're nice, but we're not that keen. Or, as in the case of most of these, they're like, oh my God, I have to have that. So, that's what we use this show for, to get feedback from customers. Prop replica-wise, Star Trek is big for us. We have a lot of Star Trek stuff here. Lots of stuff with fun, functional lights and sounds, and we'll show some of that in detail in a moment. Everything from brand new Star Trek shows like Strange New Worlds through to the older stuff, classic stuff, all the way back to the original series with things like The Agonizer. We're big Star Trek fans, and you'll see more and more from us. And on the other side of the booth later, we'll show you some really impressive stuff. James Bond is a big license for us. We're one of the, you don't see a lot of James Bond product, but we're carrying on our Bond line. Lots of fun stuff there. And then in our other cabinet over here, we have we do a lot of weapons and swords. We don't bring a lot of them to Comic-Con, mainly for space reasons. You see some stuff from House of the Dragon. We're very proud of our two swords there that we've done. We've got the Crown of Viserys. We've got some things from Dune. We've got some things from Battlestar Galactica. And then some continuation of our continuation of our Masters of the Universe line. Lots of people were really impressed with our Masters line when we came out 2 years ago. We're adding to it with new things from She-Ra. We're adding some stunt replicas, because the big metal swords are great, but you can't take them out of the house. They're not exactly portable. So you'll see some foam rubber versions of them that you can actually bring to a Comic-Con, hopefully, and do your He-Man cosplay or your She-Ra cosplay if that's your thing. Here's an up-close preview of one of our new products that we just launched. This is our next generation medical tricorder. What the video doesn't show you is the weight. This thing is fully die-cast metal. It's heavy. What we're doing here is we're replicating a prop that in reality, the props were quite basic. I think that's the polite word. They were vacuum plastic, but we fell in love with them when we saw them on the screen. They looked and appeared real to us. It's the skill of the filmmakers and the actors that they were using props that let's be quite honest, were pretty rudimentary. When you saw them on the screen, they looked like magic. The suspension of reality was perfect. So what we've done is to create a perfect replica that you can own. You then have something that actually functions with a functional screen. None of this was present in the original prop. They actually had just 35mm slides or stickers in most cases. But when I was a kid, I saw this and thought, that's real. It was really successful. And for the first time ever, this is not only a video screen, but you can use the Geo, Met, and Bio buttons to change the animations. And these are all authorized by Paramount. We took the original 35mm slides, which are still, and we animated them with various words. And if you look closely, you can actually see it. It's a decent resolution screen, but there is things going on there. We've got a third one here, which gives you a different reading. And then you can remove your hand scanner from the top here. Let's just check the batteries in this are working. And you can conduct your scans. And then the mythology, obviously, in Star Trek is that this interacts and gives information to this, but in reality it's not. This is machined aluminum. This is solid die cast. And to make it practical, we've given the ability for charging here with a USB. There's a lithium polymer battery inside here. So is it a real tricorder? No, because such things don't exist yet, but it's as close as we hope that we can get to it. Here's another exclusive preview for you. This is the Strange New Worlds phaser replica, and this one we're really excited about because this is a current production, and with this we get to work directly with production. The props for this, props are designed by the art department and by the prop department for the needs of the plot. And as of today, with 2 seasons behind us, we have not yet seen the full functions of this phaser because it just hasn't been necessary for plot devices. But most eagle-eyed fans among you will notice the design of this is heavily influenced by a certain other phaser from an original series. It's not the same, but it's different. But there are certain things that have become canonical in Star Trek. There are certain things we expect from a phaser. And when we examine the prop, beautiful as they were, there were certain things missing. For example, on the props at the moment, this is a battery cover. The P1 is not removable. You just lift this off and there's a battery underneath. And as a fan, it was great to handle a prop. It's like handling a holy relic. But also it's really disappointing to discover that, oh, it's just a battery cover. So we worked with production and we said, look, there are certain things that fans expect to see in a phaser. You haven't engineered them in yet, but can we work with you to do that? And they said yes, which is fabulous. So we now have fully functioning features that, excitingly, will now become canonical, we hope. We are actually going to donate some of these to production, and we create Inception a little bit. We hope that we'll actually see a prop replica of a prop that will actually become a prop on the show in later seasons. So without further ado, we'll show you. It's fully functional. You turn it on, and you have your standard stun and kill settings. But one thing we know phasers do is that they also overload. So we now have an overload function, which we have not yet seen in the show, but this is now canonical, and we've been provided with, they gave us special audio that they created purely for this prop that is now the canonical audio for an overload. And we'll show you a little bit of it because one of the things that's quite fun, they made a long one and it goes on for quite some time. You hold this button down and it'll start, oh, turn it off of overload. It'll go into overload sequence. And it's counting down now, and it'll build up, and it'll build up, and it'll build up, and it goes on, and on, and on, and on, and I can keep talking for about a minute, and it will still keep going, and you can hear that the crescendo is building. And the idea here is obviously you've got enough time, once you set this into overload, to escape. It's still going, it's still going, and we're nearly there. The excitement, we're all going to be blown to smithereens, by the way, you do realize this. There we go, and now we're done. The other fun thing about this, as I say, this is fully functional, so you can stun, you can kill, and range safety. I know I shouldn't be pointing this at a camera, but I think we're okay. You can also then remove the P1, and the P1 is in itself fully functional with its own stun and kill functions, and its own overload function. But Starfleet is very aware of safety, so when you've been using this P1 separately, when you put it back into the unit, it will automatically default to stun. And no matter what you do, because you always need your phaser in stun initially, because Starfleet is not an aggressive organization. We don't straight up kill people straight away, only later when they really need it. So this is our Masterworks line. This is our Pièce de la Résistance. This is the big, beautiful ships. And it's just great fun to be here at Comic-Con and show them off to people because it's a lost art. They're celebrating the art of studio scale miniature models and miniature, which is somewhat euphemistic when you see this baby. In the old days, this is how ships were made. They were made as physical models. They were filmed on camera. Sadly, it's now a lost art. It's all done mostly, with very few exceptions, through CGI and digital effects, which have their own benefits because you don't have to worry about the physical manipulation of a model. What we're doing here is we're working with key select artists who have either or still work for people like ILM, people like John Eblin, who's very famous for his work, and you're buying a piece of art. This is not a collectible for everyone. We make these one at a time. They're commissioned. They have a high ticket. They start at $15,000 and they go up. We have this one will be in excess of $20,000, but you're buying something with hundreds of hours of craftsmanship built here in the US by the people. Essentially, when you buy one of these, you are playing the role of what Paramount would do when they were commissioning a model for a film back in the day. And in fact, it still happens. John has been commissioned and still is commissioned by Paramount to make models over in the Gaslamp. They have a model in their exhibition which is made by him on their booth. So you too can be almost a studio executive if your pockets are deep enough. But we do realize these are not for everyone. But what we do love is bringing them here to Comic-Con and showing them off, because boy, oh boy, I mean, there's nothing quite like that. It's a real stunner. And last year we launched the program here with 3 ships. We now have 6. There's almost an infinite supply of ships we can do. So if there is demand and if it can be built as a physical model, we want to build it and we want to offer it out to people, or just to show it off here and give people the chance to come and get close up with a studio scale miniature, which is probably outside of a museum the only chance they're going to get.